Most men never realize when a woman truly loves them, not because she hides it well, but because they're too busy searching for grand gestures to notice the quiet ones. Here's the truth no one ever told you. A woman's love rarely begins with words. It begins with attention, presence, and small acts that echo louder than any confession. For years, men have been taught that love must be declared, proven, chaste, that if she doesn't say it, it isn't real. But that belief blinds them. It makes them overlook the subtle ways affection actually reveals itself, in how she looks at you, remembers you, defends you, and gently builds a world with you in it. That conditioning has made many men deaf to the language of the feminine heart. They think silence means indifference, when often it's devotion learning how to speak. And so they miss her signals. They mistake effort for coincidence, care for friendliness, trust for small talk, and only realize what she felt when it's already gone. The truth is simpler and far more profound. Women show love long before they confess it. The signs are there, written not in words, but in patterns. How she appears near you, how she remembers the details of your life, how her energy changes when someone else has your attention. This isn't about decoding tricks. It's about learning to see. Because when you finally understand the quiet language of her actions, you stop chasing love and start recognizing it. In this video, you'll discover the 7 hidden ways a woman reveals her feelings before she ever says, "I love you." And once you can see those signs clearly, you'll never mistake her silence for indifference again. Love rarely announces itself. It lingers quietly in presence. Sometimes it begins with something as small as a coincidence that isn't one. She happens to be where you are, at the same cafe, the same corner of a hallway, the same late hour online. It looks casual, effortless, but there's an invisible pull behind it, a quiet intention that speaks louder than any confession. She is not trying to invade your world. She is gently orbiting it, creating little moments where your paths can cross, where connection can be allowed without words. You see, a woman's presence is never without meaning. Her time is her truest form of currency. She does not spend it where her heart feels nothing. When she lingers longer than necessary, when she finds a reason to ask a question she already knows the answer to, she is not lost in coincidence. She is choosing closeness without asking for it directly. It's her way of saying, "I want to be where you are, but I'm afraid of being too much." Most men overlook this. They tell themselves, "She's just friendly," or "she had free time." But affection does not waste itself on convenience. When she chooses to appear again and again, it is because something in her feels safe near you, a comfort that is not logical but instinctive. Her actions are deliberate yet disguised as routine, and in that subtle dance lies the entire art of feminine affection, to reach out without reaching too far. There is a quiet test in all of this, not to see if you'll chase, but to see if you'll notice. Her coincidences ask a silent question. Are you awake enough to see me? Because love in its earliest form is awareness. It's 2 people paying attention to the same moment and realizing it matters. A conscious man doesn't rush to label it or take control of it. He doesn't assume or analyze. He simply observes. He allows her presence to speak for itself, to unfold naturally, because what she offers isn't attention, it's access. She is opening the smallest window of possibility, hoping you will look through without breaking the frame. If you learn to see it, really see it, you'll understand something rare. Affection isn't always loud. It often hides inside small, repeated gestures that seem insignificant but are deeply human. Love doesn't always declare, "I want you." Sometimes it just shows up, softly, deliberately, again and again. And in that quiet persistence, it says everything. And when her presence starts to settle into your world, something deeper happens. Her attention begins to remember you. When someone remembers you, it's not their mind doing the work, it's their heart. Memory in love is never neutral. It's selective, emotional, alive. A woman who secretly cares for you doesn't just notice, she absorbs. She listens between the lines, catching the things you didn't even think were worth mentioning. The coffee you like without sugar, the song you said you used to fall asleep to, the dream you casually mentioned once when you thought no one was really listening. To her, these fragments are not random. They become anchors, small truths that keep her connected to who you are when you're not around. She stores them quietly, not for advantage, but for affection. It's not memory, it's devotion disguised as detail. Most people listen to respond, but she listens to remember. And that kind of attention doesn't come from politeness. It comes from care. You'll notice it in the way she brings up a story you told weeks ago, how she recalls a joke you made once and still laughs at it, or how she checks in about something small you mentioned in passing, an exam, a meeting, a goal. These aren't rehearsed acts of kindness, they're reflections of emotional investment. She remembers because something in her refuses to forget. There's a tenderness in that. When she remembers, she's saying, "You exist inside me." She's building a quiet map of your soul, your habits, your fears, your little obsessions, not to control you, but to understand you. Because love, in its truest form, seeks to know. And here's the truth most men miss. Remembering someone is an act of reverence. It's giving energy to their existence. People forget what doesn't move them. But when you live in someone's memory, it means you've already touched a part of them that can't easily let go. A mature man doesn't inflate his ego when he realizes this. He doesn't treat it as a victory. He treats it as something sacred, the quiet trust of being held in someone's inner world. He honors it by being present, by listening in return, by meeting that emotional awareness with his own calm attention. Because when she remembers, she's not just holding on to facts, she's holding on to feeling. And feelings, once stored, are hard to erase. They become invisible threads that pull her back to you, no matter how far she tries to drift. So when a woman remembers what you thought she'd forget, don't dismiss it as coincidence. Don't brush it off as niceness. It's her heart whispering what her lips won't yet say. You matter. And in that memory, love quietly takes root. And when her memories begin to hold you, her emotions start to betray what her words still hide. Because the heart can only pretend for so long before it slips through tone, silence, and sudden shifts of mood. Jealousy is not always control. Sometimes it's care in disguise. You'll notice it in moments that seem ordinary. Another woman's name comes up and her energy changes. She doesn't say anything cruel, but something in the air shifts. Her smile lingers a little too long or disappears too soon. She might tease you. "Oh, you two seem close." It sounds playful, but underneath it, there's a quiet question, trembling. Am I the only one who matters to you? She won't admit it outright, because to do so would mean revealing her heart before she's sure it's safe. So her emotions leak out sideways, through small hesitations, through glances she doesn't mean to give, through silences that weigh more than words. What looks like distance is often fear, fear of losing something she's not even sure she truly has. It's not manipulation, it's protection. The mind tries to stay composed, but the heart always speaks first. Her subtle jealousy is not an attempt to cage you. It's a quiet confession that you already mean too much. Most men mistake this softness for insecurity. They either mock it to feel powerful or feed it to feel desired. Both reactions break the trust she's trying to build. The truth is, when a woman's emotions betray her, she's not asking for control. She's asking for reassurance. She's saying, "Please don't make me feel foolish for caring." A wise man sees this difference. He doesn't rush to exploit the moment or use her vulnerability as proof of his worth. He stays calm. He doesn't gloat, doesn't play the hero. He simply remains steady, reminding her without words that she's safe to feel what she feels. Because when you meet her silent jealousy with steadiness, something shifts in her, her guard softens, her heart exhales. She realizes that you're not there to compete or dominate. You're there to understand, and understanding is the rarest form of attraction. So when she goes quiet in a room full of laughter, when she suddenly changes the topic after another woman speaks your name, notice. Don't interrogate it, don't ignore it, just recognize what it means. Her stillness is her confession. Her teasing is her truth in disguise. Jealousy at its core is never about others. It's about fear of disconnection. And when she feels that fear, it means you've already entered her emotional world. The question isn't whether she feels it. The question is whether you can hold that emotion without breaking it. When emotions begin to surface through silence and small shifts of tone, the next language she speaks is even quieter, the language of touch. Because before she tells you how she feels, her touch already has. It starts softly. Maybe she brushes against your hand as she laughs, pretending it was an accident. Maybe she adjusts the collar of your shirt when she easily could have let it be. Maybe she lingers in a hug just a moment longer than necessary. Not long enough to make it obvious, but just enough to make you feel it. Each of these gestures carries weight far beyond what the eye can see. Her body speaks before her lips can. It tells you, I trust you. It says, I feel safe near you. And most of all, it whispers, I want to be closer, but I don't know how to say it without losing myself. None of it is random. Touch is her emotional handwriting, a language written not with ink, but with intention. Every accidental brush, every gentle fix, every playful push is a question. Can I reach you without losing my balance? Most men either overreact or miss it entirely. Some mistake one touch for invitation and rush forward too fast, breaking the delicate rhythm of her trust. Others dismiss it as friendliness, blind to the courage it takes for a woman to cross that invisible line between comfort and vulnerability. Because women guard their space. It's how they protect their peace in a world that often takes without asking. So when she chooses to close that distance, even by an inch, it means something rare has happened inside her. Her heart feels safe enough to let her body speak. There's nothing theatrical about it. It's not performance. It's instinct, born from connection. A woman's touch, when she loves silently, is her way of testing the ground between the two of you, to see if it's steady enough to hold what she feels. The wise man doesn't flinch when it happens, and he doesn't boast either. He doesn't turn the moment into victory or fantasy. He simply receives it with calm respect, acknowledging it as what it truly is, trust. When you stay grounded, she feels that safety multiply. When you stay composed, her body relaxes even more. The space between you stops being a battlefield of guessing and becomes a quiet sanctuary of truth. Because what she's really saying through that small, deliberate touch is not, I want you now, but rather, I feel something real here, and I hope you do too. Before she ever finds the courage to say she loves you, she'll reach for you, softly, carefully, like a secret she's not ready to share. And if you can meet that moment with stillness instead of rush, she'll remember it as the first time she felt truly seen without saying a single word. After her touch begins to bridge the distance, something even deeper unfolds. She starts to open her world to you. Because love doesn't truly begin with touch or attraction. It begins when masks fall. When a woman lets you see beyond the surface, it's not conversation anymore. It's revelation. She starts sharing the things she hides from everyone else, the fears she's carried for years, the small insecurities she never jokes about, the stories from her childhood that shape the way she sees love and safety. Each memory she reveals is a quiet act of courage. She's not speaking to fill silence. She's handing you small pieces of her history, trusting you not to break them. Vulnerability is never casual. It's a risk, a sacred offering of truth, and she won't take that risk with just anyone. When she opens up, it's not because she's bored or lonely. It's because she believes, even if only for a moment, that you might be able to hold her without judgment. Every confession, every pause between her words says, I trust you to see me and not run. That is the essence of real connection, not the thrill of being desired, but the peace of being understood. Most men panic in this moment. They rush to fix her pain, to give advice, to fill the space with solutions. But what she's asking for isn't repair, it's presence. She doesn't need you to solve her. She needs you to stay. The man who can listen without interrupting, who can sit in the silence after her voice trembles, is the one who earns her truth. Because love isn't built on grand gestures or perfect timing, it's built on emotional safety. When she shows you her cracks, she's not asking for perfection in return. She's asking if you can hold her honesty without turning away. And when you do, when you simply let her be seen, something shifts in both of you. The walls between you fade, the performance ends. What's left is real. Love begins there, not with fireworks, but with the quiet relief of finally being able to breathe next to someone who doesn't need you to pretend. And when she finally feels safe enough to reveal her inner world, her love begins to move in a different way. It starts to build. Because when a woman truly cares, her quiet loyalty becomes the loudest proof. She begins to invest not only in how you make her feel, but in who you're becoming. She listens to your goals, remembers your dreams, and somehow believes in you even on the days you can't. When you doubt yourself, she's the voice that reminds you of your strength. When you succeed, she celebrates as if it were her own victory. That's not friendliness. That's emotional partnership in disguise. Her energy becomes fuel for your growth. She doesn't push you because she wants to control you. She pushes you because she can already see the man you're capable of becoming. When life knocks you down, she stays. Not out of obligation, but devotion. She's not there to rescue you. She's there to remind you who you are. That kind of support is rare, and it's sacred. A woman's faith in you is never accidental. It's her way of saying, I see you as more than what you are now, and I believe in what you could be. But this is where your awareness matters most. Don't turn her support into dependency. Don't make her validation your oxygen. Notice her effort, appreciate it, reflect it back through your actions. Because a woman's belief in you is a mirror. If you honor it, it reflects your best self. If you neglect it, it fades. Her quiet loyalty is not a promise, it's a gift. And when you recognize it for what it is, you'll understand that real love doesn't shout or demand. It stands beside you, steady, unseen, but always there, building you from within. And as her loyalty starts shaping your growth, something subtle but powerful begins to happen. She starts to imagine you not just in her present, but in her future. Because when a woman includes you in tomorrow, she's already chosen you today. You'll notice it in small sentences that sound innocent at first. We should go there someday. Imagine if we lived by the beach. That would be fun to do together next year. These aren't just passing thoughts. They're quiet blueprints of the life she's starting to picture with you in it. She's testing the ground of possibility, wondering if you'll step into that vision or retreat from it. Women don't build futures with men they feel uncertain about. When she weaves you into her someday conversations, it's not for fantasy, it's for safety. It's her heart's way of saying, I see something real here, but I need to know if you do too. Most men brush it off, thinking she's just daydreaming, but beneath those simple words lies something much deeper, a confession wrapped in caution. She doesn't want to scare you by saying, I see a future with you. So instead, she paints soft pictures where the two of you simply exist together, naturally, peacefully, without pressure. If you listen carefully, those moments tell you everything. They mean her heart has already decided, even if her lips haven't. The man who understands this doesn't rush ahead or freeze up. He stays calm, acknowledges the beauty of what she's offering, and respects it. Because she's not asking for promises. She's inviting possibility. And in that invitation lies the purest truth of all. When a woman starts speaking of tomorrow with your name quietly woven in, it means she already loves you today. In the end, love doesn't always arrive with fireworks or confession. It shows up quietly, in her presence, her memory, her touch, her trust. When you learn to notice these moments, you stop asking, does she love me? And start realizing, she already does. Every woman reveals her heart differently. What matters is not how loudly she loves, but how deeply. And the men who understand this, who listen beyond words, are the ones who never lose what's real. If this message spoke to you, remember, awareness is power, but growth takes practice. Subscribe to Charismind for more insights on emotional intelligence, attraction, and self-mastery. And when you're ready, watch the next video, where we'll dive even deeper into understanding connection, respect, and the psychology of real love.